Okay, well, it's 7:30, so we'll bring the meeting to order. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody this morning. Welcome to our guests, but our Sergeant at Arms will handle that. So, Tim, do you have something for us this morning, please?
I do. I have the children's choir from Vancouver. Here we go.
That was great. Thank you, Tim. You always bring us such good selections. So I'm going to pass it over to our Sergeant at Arms, Al. Good morning, Al.
Good morning, President Ann. Good morning, fellow Rotarians. A very warm welcome to Robin, our former Deputy Chief of Police here in Innisfil. Robin, it's wonderful to see you. Lovely lady, and we love it when you come to visit us. I understand that your main reason this morning is to check up and make sure that Chief Fletcher's doing a good job. So I think we all will support that theory right now, okay? But Robin, nice to see you, and we're going to hear from you shortly. We've got a couple of guests, and I believe we have Robert. Robert, nice to see you. And I believe Paul is there. Paul, nice to see you. John, welcome this morning. Nice to see you. A couple of things to take care of here. We have a couple of wedding anniversaries. I'm not sure if Monica's with us, but Monica and her husband celebrated 19 years on the 25th of this month. And Jeff and Sharon celebrated 41 years on the 10th of this month. Also want to recognize some Rotary anniversaries. Marlene Mills, 11 years this month with Rotary. And Cal, 10 years this month with Rotary. My wife Susan, 9 years this month with Rotary. Teresa, 2 years. And Jen, 2 years. That month of May has been very good for our club. Over the years, we've had a total of 5 ladies join in the month of May. Now, I have some news for the club, and I asked for permission to share this with you. Troy Scott, a very strong supporter of our club. In fact, a very strong supporter of a lot of community projects, fundraisers, always giving at Foodland to help support, make our community better. A few days ago, Troy collapsed at home. He was transferred to the Royal Victoria Hospital where he was diagnosed with COVID. Maybe I should mention first, Troy is 45 years of age. He's an avid golfer, a hockey player. He's built like a little bull, good shape, good. But anyway, he ended up in the RVH with COVID on a ventilator, and it was serious enough that the family was called in. And we don't really know the reason for that, but we have our thoughts. Well, yesterday morning, Troy was transferred to Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto, and he's awaiting a lung transplant. So I just wanted to mention this to everyone because Troy's been a very strong supporter of our club. And right from the beginning, Howard Courtney's been involved in this, also giving prayers. Ann Kell's church was requested by the RVH for prayers with their prayer group. And I can only think because Troy was transferred to Toronto awaiting this transplant, that maybe those prayers have been answered because that is some hope there. Troy obviously needs some drastic work here, but I'm sure he's going to come through, but I want all of you to think of Troy and the family in the next few days. He needs our support. He needs our prayers. He was always there for the Rotary Club. So let's us be there for Troy. So I'll keep you posted. And that's all this morning, President, and thank you. One quick note. You know, I'm running into people who say this is over. I don't need to wear my mask anymore. I got my first vaccination. Folks, it's not over. And please be cautious, be careful out there. Do the right thing. Okay, President, and that's all for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. I'm sure the thoughts and prayers of all our members will be added to all those other prayer circles for Troy, and we wish him a very speedy recovery. And also our thoughts should be with the family who will be unselfish enough to donate their loved ones' organs to Troy in his need as well. So it's sad news, but hopefully he will get through this and we will see him again in the not too distant future. So thank you, Al.
There's definitely hope, definitely.
Thank you. But as Al said, it's a word of caution to everybody. Troy's in his 40s. I assume he had his first vaccination and, you know, he still caught COVID. And a lot of the staff at that particular Foodland, it's been announced that they've also had COVID, as well as what happened at Sobeys. So it also shows that the people we depend on every day for us to get our food and everything are also at risk, high risk from this. So we have to think about them as well. So thank you. Okay, Jen, are you going to introduce our illustrious guest today for us, please?
Thank you, President. And it's quite a long bio. When I usually look at bios, I try to chop things down a little bit, but it was so impressive. There's absolutely nothing that I could take away from this. So I'll start with introducing Deputy Chief Robin McElary-Downer. So spanning nearly 4 decades of policing, Deputy Chief Robin McElary-Downer's law enforcement career began when she was sworn in as a provincial constable with the Ontario Provincial Police on March 16, 1981. Over the next 36 years, she enjoyed serving in a variety of challenging and rewarding positions, landing in the organizational 4 pillars of the OPP: field operations, traffic safety, investigations, and corporate. In 1992, Robin returned to field operations and assumed command of the Port Credit Detachment located just west of Toronto. In doing so, she was recognized as the OPP's first female detachment commander. In between other posts over the next 19 years, Robin served as commander of several GTA detachments, including Cambridge, Niagara Falls, Burlington, Aurora, Barrie, Highway 407, and Queen's Park until 2011. Following her promotion to inspector, Robin was posted to the First Nations and Municipal Policing Bureau, where she worked closely with chiefs and band councils across Ontario and facilitated their community and territory law enforcement needs. Following this, she was posted to the Investigations and Enforcement Bureau, a bureau nestled in the Alcohol and Gaming Commission, where she oversaw all charitable and commercial-related gaming investigations. In 2011, Robin was appointed as the OPP's chief adjudicator following her promotion to superintendent. It was in this role that she exercised the powers and duties of the commissioner in regard to police disciplinary matters and presided over numerous police tribunals. In 2017, Robin left the OPP to accept a position with the South Simcoe Police Service as their deputy chief. She remained there overseeing operations in that unique municipal setting until her retirement in December 2020. In addition to her policing duties, Robin has served as the Lieutenant Governor's Office as Aide de Camp since 2002. In 2012, she was promoted to Deputy Chief Aide de Camp. And most recently, Robin was promoted in September 2020 by the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdeswell to Chief Aide de Camp, a position never before held by a woman. Robin has been married for the past 35 years to Dave. They share a son and daughter and recently became proud grandparents. Please welcome Robin.
Well, thanks everybody. And first of all, my sincerest apologies for that long bio. You know, we learned in high school, the #1 rule was read the whole sheet before you start the exam. And all I saw at the top of Barb's instructions was bio. So I flipped her that one, and how embarrassing when days later I read the whole thing that Barb had said, and there's a tiny little box. So I am so sorry that y'all had to sit through that painstaking bio. It bored the heck out of me, so I can only imagine the impact on you. So listen, good morning, everybody. What a thrill it is to be here to talk about what is an aide de camp. An aide de camp is attached to the Lieutenant Governor's office, or if I was in the federal stream, it would be to the Governor General's office. An aide de camp's general duty is to ensure the easy flow of an event, leading their individual, whether it be the vice regal or royalty or a commissioner or a general high-ranking military officer. Our duty is not security. We simply take in my role, and let me just refer always to the Lieutenant Governor here in Ontario, is from the point of the Lieutenant Governor being dropped off at the point of an event, the start of an event, I am her aide, and I lead her through the event. I ensure introductions are made that need to be made. I ensure people that are too shy to walk up to the Lieutenant Governor, I make those introductions. I seek and find them, and I get the Lieutenant Governor to where she has to be on time. I ensure that protocol is observed, so I need to know all the protocols of the flags and blah, blah, blah. Then I ensure that the Lieutenant Governor departs on time. The reason why we have aide de camps is because if you can imagine our Lieutenant Governor, our current one, Elizabeth Dowdeswell, she does 700 averages, 700 events on an annual basis, even during COVID, although she was doing those via virtual. You can imagine how many events she does in a day, and so she needs that aide de camp to be boots on the ground from the point she arrives, because she's walking into an event blind. So we get her through the event, and then we get her back to her limo, and the OPP transport her to the next event, and she can do up to 4, 5, 6 events a day, and we're all queued in for the different events. Hello. How you can tell us an aide de camp, if you see us, and I just posted this one picture of myself. I'm sorry, let me just back off. We are wearing the augulet, and if we have it on the right side of our shoulder, you can be well aware that there is vice regal or royalty within your midst. If you see an officer or a military officer with an aiguillet on the left side of their shoulder, that means they are accompanying either a high-ranking police officer or high-ranking military officer. So what's the structure of the aide de camps here at Queen's Park? We have one chief aide de camp, and that would be myself, and I oversee 60 aide de camps that are spread across the province. I'm assisted by 4 deputy chief aide de camps, and the majority of the aide de camps, because of the GTA, are posted in the GTA area or just outside the GTA area. However, we have aide de camps, of course, that reach as far as Ottawa and down to Windsor. In regard to aide de camps in the north, about the furthest north we go is Aurelia, and then we rely on the OPP aide de camps that will fly to the north for us and take care of any business during Her Honor's travels in the far-reaching north, the fly-in communities, etc. So what's my history with the aide de camp? I can tell you that in 2002, I was voluntold by the commissioner of the day that I was going to be an aide de camp. At the time, I was posted to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission, which was at that time down at Yonge Street in Dundas. So my proximity to Queen's Park, it just made sense that Commissioner Boniface reached out and asked if I would perform the duties of an aide de camp. And I got to be honest with you folks, In 2002, I had 2 young kids under 10. I was coaching baseball in the summer and hockey, girls hockey in the winter. My duties at alcohol and gaming with the investigation side took me out of the country many times on travel. And I honest to God went home and just put my hands in my head in my hands, and I said to my husband, I have no more room. I have no more room on my plate. I can't do this. However, and Barry would know this, when you're asked by the commissioner if you would like to volunteer, of course you're going to volunteer. So the next day I stepped right up and said, absolutely, I'd be more than delighted, Commissioner, to serve as an aide de camp. I think that was probably one of my best decisions, because I never was braced or never knew how much I would enjoy this position. I can tell you, when you need to, you always find room on the plate. You always shuffle things around, even though you think everything's so overwhelming. Great lesson for me is that there's always more room on the plate, and you can just move things around and shuffle, and you can do an extra duty. So since 2002, I have volunteered down at Queen's Park, and I must say that I've never expected to do so many nifty, neat events, and the personal growth that I have experienced at being at Queen's Park, working with an aide de camp. And I think probably the greatest gift that I've taken away is the times I've walked away, driven home and thought, my God, I am so darn proud to be a Canadian, so fortunate to be a Canadian, and so proud that immigrants are coming to Ontario, knowing probably more about our government than those that aren't immigrants, and embracing our culture and excited to learn about Ontario, and just so pleased to give to Ontario and make us a rich province and rich country that we are. So who are the other aide de camps down at Queen's Park? I'm so humbled that I get to work with such a gifted cadre of individuals. We have 60-40 ratio, 60% are military, which is Navy, Army, and Air Force. And Andrew Fletcher, you would enjoy this, the way some police services tease each other. What I never knew is how the military tease each other, and it looks like the Air Force are always the ones at the brunt of the jokes as being the lazy glory boys of the military. So it's quite interesting. So we have the breakdown of military, 60%, and then 40% we have senior police officers of a commissioned rank or higher, or not higher, but an equal. So Toronto Police Service superintendents and inspectors are not commissioned, but we accept them because we actually really need the Toronto Police as part of our cadre. They're so valuable. We have lawyers, we have doctors, we have professors, we have an aerospace engineer. So we are very, very rich in regard to the group of people that want to volunteer. When I say lawyers and doctors, they're all affiliated to the military organization as a reservist or full-time military. We also have St. John's Ambulance, senior ranking officers, EMS, and of course the fire chief. So let me share this little story. We have so many nifty people working down at Queen's Park. Oh, in addition to our aide de camps, we have a cadre of volunteers, and we keep them right in Queen's Park, and they're to help with our larger events when Her Honor entertains the numerous ceremonies and events down at her suite. And the volunteers, as well as when we bring in a group of aide de camps, we all serve as her host until she arrives on site. So we're engaged with all the people that attend the event and making sure that their needs are being met. So let me talk about this one really super duper remarkable aide de camp that has always stood out as probably my greatest pride to work with and know before she passed away, and that was Major Peggy Downs. And Major Peggy Downs, at the time she became an aide-de-camp under John Blackard, was the most senior ranking military officer. She was a major with the military, and she was in the Army sector. And Peggy Downs served most of her career, or started her career out in the out east, where her and her family resided. I think it was Newfoundland. And Peggy Downs, her story is that the military always ensured that you had to stay in shape, and we know that they're always in top drawer shape. And so out east, what the military expected their soldiers to do was to do lots of swimming, which Peggy did. And Peggy, being a Black woman, the pool chlorine never set well with her hair. And so poor Peggy had to swim. The pool chemicals were just havoc on her hair, so she had to send away for a solution down to the States, and it took 2 months to come up. And believe it or not, she had Viola Desmond fix her hair. So I think if we all remember Viola Desmond, Black woman out east in the theater, and she was also a hairdresser, and she's on her $10 bill. That is a remarkable, I think, a remarkable piece of history that Peggy brought to Queen's Park. She was also our very first female aide-de-camp. She was brought in the 80s under John Blackard, Lieutenant Governor. I'll open up for a couple of questions in a sec. What I'll do is just cover my personal highlights, my personal growth with each Lieutenant Governor. First of all, James Bartleman, our first Aboriginal Lieutenant Governor. And he really opened my eyes, and he opened Ontario's eyes to mental health. And for the first time in my memory, in my lifetime, somebody actually stood up and started talking about mental health, and he suffered from mental health issues. And he talked about the years it took to get the chemicals right, the right chemical balance with the medications for him to serve in all his foreign posts. I also remember with James Bartleman, I got to go to the SARS concert, so I'm telling my kids, no, you need to stay at home. It's not a good place to go. And here I am traipsing through the SARS concert in uniform with my agilette with James Bartleman. And that was a pretty neat experience at Dowdeswell base. He also opened up the book drive. He, being Aboriginal, recognized that there were no books in the libraries of the schools up in the far north. And so he reached out to Ontario for some support. We stored the books in Queen's Park, and then we outgrew that, and we had to rent a hangar at Dowdeswell base and sort through the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of books to be shipped to the north. David Onelly was my next Lieutenant Governor, and what an honor to serve with him. He opened my eyes to accessibility. And of course, I knew of accessibility as a detachment commander because we all had to make sure our offices were accessible and do we get an elevator and blah, blah, blah. But for the first time, I got to see accessibility through his eyes because I would run in advance to all his events. And I would go through with his eyes and look at the stairs and say, well, we can't go through the stairs, so we need to find an elevator and we need to get ramps. And it truly, truly was a eye-opening experience and a tremendous growth for me to see that through, to work through it through his, see it through his eyes, and how I learned about accessibility. And at one point I was so disappointed, I guess, with Ontario that we were so slow on the accessibility, but we've gotten better over the years. And of course, our last Lieutenant Governor, Elizabeth Dowdeswell, she is just an absolute joy to work with. She has opened my eyes to sustainability. And now I try and look through her eyes and think, how are we going to manage this, and what mechanisms and factors are we putting in place to contain or to continue sustainability, and is it sustainable? And if it's not, let's move on to something else. So each Lieutenant Governor, they have a platform, and you adopt that platform and you work through it, and you support them, and we learn lots. So I also, on a personal note, serving as a lieutenant governor, or serving as an aide de camp to Lieutenant Governor, we get the best seat in the house, because wherever that Lieutenant Governor is, we get to sit pretty close to them. We're always we always have a line of sight with them. And so if they're at the head table, we're at the next table to the head table. If we're in the theater, we're in the box with them. So that's always a little perk that we kind of enjoy. We get to see the neatest events and meet the neatest people in Ontario. And it's a pretty enriching experience, and very humbling and an honor to serve a Lieutenant Governor. So I'm going to open it to, do you have any questions?
First of all, thank you, Robin. You truly are an inspiration to all of us, and thank you for all your service. And I know we're going to have loads of questions here, so Al, I'm going to let Al go first. Go ahead, Al.
Robin, first of all, congratulations on that grandchild. We have 4 little granddaughters, and that takes a whole different phase of your life, and you're going to love that. Robin, I do have a question for you, and I don't expect you to give any pertinent information out about this, but with security and protection for the Lieutenant Governor, are you involved with that in a big way?
No, not at all. I go back to my time with the OPP, and they were so comfortable with me. The OPP are her detail. So you will always, they bring her to the event, they run the advance with me or whoever the aide de camp of the day is. So we know exactly where the escape route is, where the washrooms are. We work together in that regard. Once Her Honor is there, they fall back, but they're always in that line or sight line with me. And they've, as a former OPP, I'll never forget when they said, one officer said, "Superintendent, we know your personality, but you need to understand that if poop hits a fan, get out of our way." And we'll try and take over. So our job as security is to support them, but to get out of the OPP's way. They know their job best, and we follow suit with them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Anybody else? Barry.
Well, anyway, I've known Robin for, well, most of her career. And I first met her in the early 80s. She was working in Port Credit Detachment, a patrol officer on the road. And I was working in Dowdeswell in a similar role. But I remember one night in particular, working midnights, and our shifts kind of coordinated or ran over each other. But she'd come into the office with an impaired driver because Port Credit didn't have an officer, breathalyzer operator on duty. And that was the first time I met her. And so we finished up, and she went on her way with her prisoner. But about 15 minutes later, she came back in the office with another impaired driver. So she kept me busy most of the time when we were working the same shifts. And that night was exceptional. I think she maybe even later on, or really in the early morning, that she brought another one in. So there was a real indication of her work effort. And so I just want to say congratulations, Robin, to you and Dave. All the best to you, and thank you for your service.
Well, Barry, it was always a pleasure to work with you. You were just a top drawer guy. I loved your brother Doug too, and your nephew, and yeah, just a great family to know. And what an honor it was to work with you. You were just class all the way, Barry. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, my brother Doug was on the OPP, and he was stationed in Belleville, and he worked with Robin's father.
Thank you. Anybody else? I can't see any other hands up. So,
not
Robin,
really a question, President Ann, but just great to see you, Robin. You're looking fantastic. Obviously, retirement life's treating you well, and you're keeping busy with the aide de camp work, and hopefully you're getting some time on that boat and doing the stuff you love to do with the grandkids. So great seeing you.
Good. Thank you. Same to you.
Thanks, Chief Fletcher. Again, thank you, Robin. It's been great to see you, great to catch up on what you're doing, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like. Otherwise, we are going to move on right now. But thank you again, and thank you for your service.
Thanks, Anne.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So moving on. That was a great presentation. It makes you sometimes wonder, what have I actually done in my life? When you hear a bio like that one, it's amazing. Okay, so moving on, we've got a couple of committee chair positions that are coming open on for July 1st. One of them is foundation. Andrew Seaman is currently our chair of foundation, but due to current workloads and having the new baby and everything, he has said he would like to step down at this time of being the foundation chair. And we do have a volunteer, and Brandy has volunteered to take over as foundation chair. And I think she will be a great addition to the chair role. So unless anybody else has a wish to be foundation chair, I would like to welcome Brandy to that position as of July the 1st. Thank you, Brandy, for stepping up for that role. Brandy, as you know, has been great this year. She's finished all her RLI training, all 3 parts this year, and has done a great job. And I'm excited to see what she's going to do for the foundation moving forward. Thank you, Brandy. The other chair position that is now opening is membership. As you know, Michael Stanley was going to take over as chair of membership, but Michael has decided he's going to move to Toronto. So that position has now opened as well. So I'm looking to see if there are any volunteers in the club who are interested in taking over that particular position. I just want to mention that I am willing to take over that position unless, you know, there are other candidates who are interested in, you know, becoming a board member and taking over chair of membership. So please let me know this week if there's anybody else interested in that position, and then we'll kind of decide on that one next week. So Brandy, that's great news for you. I'm really happy for you. Okay, now Dean has a suggestion he would like to talk to us about for a fundraiser. So go ahead, Dean.
Okay, thank you, President Ann. One of the things I've been working on is going back and getting the Rotary Fun Run back up. I know times are tough this year. We can't really do it in person, but I am working on setting up a virtual run. Just working out the details and everything like that. We did discuss it last night at the board meeting, but I think it could be great. Walk, run, bike, walk the dog, no distance required, 1K, 5K, 10K. Working on getting custom Innisfil Rotary buffs for all the participants, race bib numbers so you can actually feel like you're in a race. I'm looking at working with the sponsor for those right now. But registration would be $30. We can put everyone saw a selfie in, put them on a website, and we have potential to make $3,500 if we get a decent amount of people out. But I was just wondering if anyone would be interested in supporting this.
Okay, so I guess the main point is that people can do this on their own time at any time,
Yeah.
right? Because of COVID restrictions, you can do it on the trail, you can do it wherever, as long as you're registered and you posted pictures of whenever you have done this. So
yeah. My plan is to start promoting it now, pre-register from now till July, start sending the packages out in August, and then sometime in August, once you get your package, you can do your walk, run, bike, and send a picture to a email and website that we provide.
Okay, it sounds like a great plan, Dean. Can I have a show of hands to see who would like to support this one?
I see hands and I expect all of you guys to run.
Or do something.
Dean,
Okay.
I have a question,
Yes.
President. So Dean, you could actually, like, I'm 76, so I could participate, but I could cheat a little bit, right?
Absolutely. You can do 1K and tell us you did 100.
Oh, I'm in. Send me the
Send
package.
your money first.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I plan on putting all proceeds to help grow the Rotary Trail and make it a bigger event. Hopefully next year we can actually have the event at the trail.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think Dean and I have, and Anne and Kel have talked a few times, and we think a lot of our fundraising next year needs to go towards the trail to fulfill a lot of the plans and everything that were put in place when the trail was built, things like outdoor education centers and different things like that along the trail. There's a whole list of things that we would like to see along the trail. So we think a large portion of fundraising will go towards completion of the Rotary Trail next year. So thank you everybody for that. Okay, well, we're ahead of schedule today. Before we move into a good news round, does anybody have anything they want to bring to the club's attention? Yes, Jen.
Did you want me to do that poll for the celebration, the anniversary celebration?
Yeah, I think that was one of the things we talked about at the board meeting last night. As you know, it was our 10th anniversary last year. Then we had to put it off to this year, so it was going to be our 11th anniversary. And now it's kind of next year, so it will be our 12th anniversary. So we're saying, should we have a 12th anniversary celebration, or should we hold off until it's the 15th year and make it a super special celebration? So Jen is going to put up a quick poll and see how people are feeling about how we should celebrate our 10th/11th, 12th, whatever. So if you could just respond to this poll and let's see what the main interest is.
President Ann, if I can just jump in here quickly. Unfortunately, I have to run. We have a new officer starting with us this morning that I was supposed to meet at 8 o'clock just to greet him and welcome him to the service. We swore him in last night. We've been lucky enough to pluck another great officer coming out of Toronto and coming back home. So local Bradford guy that's going to join us after working in Toronto for 12 years and stop that commute down the city. So he'll pass, normally he would have passed you in the morning on the way into work, Michael. Now he'll be staying here. So have a great week, everybody. I'd love to be seeing everybody and have a stay safe out there.
Thanks, Chief Fletcher. Bye-bye. Okay. So the results in, Jen?
Okay, so we have, 100% participation, and it's very close. We've got 45% that say let's do 2022 and 55% that want to wait till our 15th anniversary.
Okay, so I guess majority rule. We will wait till our 15th anniversary then, and boy, what a party that's going to be when we have that party. Thank you, Jen. And Doug Weber, I think you wanted to say something as well.
Yeah, we're just digging a little deeper into doing this bottle drive. And now that we're looking towards reopening the province in the very near future, and I'm sure we're going to hear more and more details in the days to come, we'd like to start getting this off the ground. And I'd love to have a committee meeting tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock via Zoom. And I'll just send out a blanket email to everyone. Hey, anybody who wants to be involved, just meet me on Zoom tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Great, thank you, Doug, that's great. Anybody else have anything before we move to a good news round?
Yeah, we have,
sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
yeah, we have flowers to be planted next week.
Okay,
It's the plants will be ready in the middle of next week, so we have to pick them up and get the garden done, and we'll go from there. And I see that Tim has sent everything to Joji at the town office for the draw, so I should hopefully hear back from him today or tomorrow, and then we can get started on it.
okay, that's great. So can you let people know when you want them to meet you over at the garden to help?
Will do. I'll send out an email.
Thank you. And for those new members, I think I mentioned last week, the Rotary Garden is on Yonge Street, just south of Innisfil Beach Road, just before the entrance to the community centre. So any volunteers will be gratefully accepted as long as we don't exceed any limits that are imposed by the current restrictions. Thank you, Jeff. And I'm looking forward to getting the beer-free year. I'm sure, I know Tim had to leave early today. He had to go to Toronto. So I think he'll be sending out details on how this new system he's put in place will work for selling of the tickets virtually. So thank you. Now, I think I heard somebody else want, Janet, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, two things. We were looking at doing the club runner training, and I was looking to do it on Tuesday, June 1st at 7 p.m. for approximately an hour to an hour and a half tops. So I'm going to send out an email that'll have the Zoom link for that, and anybody that can't make that particular date, we'll have another one later, as well as the history portion of it that will be set for another day as well. Also, pitch-in day. Are we still able to get the pitch-in bags in order to pick up garbage, even if it's just ourselves, or are they canned that?
I have some at home here if you need any.
Okay, because there's a stretch on the 25th Side Road between the Simcoe Forest and Henderson that's full of garbage. So I thought maybe I would, or my husband and I would go down and clean that up, a portion of that.
So Janet, I have got yellow pitch-in bags, and I'll drop you off a box of them later today, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Al. Anybody else? Barry.
Just a question for Al. How did the pizza oven go?
It actually went very well. It was an amazing sight. This pizza oven weighs 2,000 pounds. It's the same pizza oven you get at Domino's. It was shipped over from Italy, transported up to the lake, and lifted by crane over a 3-story home and deposited onto a concrete base by the lake. 2,000 pounds. It was videotaped by the company in Italy, and the video went back to Italy to show them the installation. And of course, yours truly was in the video, so it went very well. It was an amazing sight, really.
I think you should bring in some samples to make sure it was working properly.
We'll take care of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We'll move to a good news round. So Janet, do you want to go first? Do you have some good news to share? Janet?
Yep, yeah. Sure. Sorry about that. Good news is that we're getting our house ready to bring in all of our family members in the middle of July. So that's something we're looking forward to. And I think it'll be a great couple of weeks while they move from one place to another. So that's it.
Okay, thanks, Janet. Jen, what would you like to share?
Just really enjoyed the long weekend. It was nice to have that break. Got into the garden and spent some time watching away from screens. So feeling good this week.
Thanks, Jen. Doug?
Good morning. Just a bit of a public service announcement. There is a blood donor clinic at the Innisfil YMCA, and it's on May 31st. And if you go to blood.ca, you can register to go to that. I'm already signed up. I know I've seen many of you there before, so just a FYI that it's out there. And unfortunately, we talked about COVID at the start of this whole conversation, and Cheryl and I have had our shots, and my kids are going to get vaccinated tomorrow. So very excited that even the youth or younger people are starting to get in the vaccination line. So good news.
Great. Thanks, Doug. Barry, what would you like to share?
Good news family-wise. Our daughter and husband and family were searching for a new home. The current home they live in Barrie is not large enough, so they've been bidding on several houses over the last couple of weeks, and last evening they were successful in obtaining a house that they are going to live in for the next number of years. beautiful backyard and more room.
That's great. Thanks, Barry. Anne, what would you like to share?
Well, thanks, President Ann. Everything's good here. We finished planting yesterday, so now we're just hoping for the rain. So all good.
Thanks, Anne. Jeff?
Oh, I got not a whole lot to talk about. My dog's being a little rambunctious here this morning. He wants to play and sit on my lap, so I got 2 lap dogs today instead of just 1. So they're fine. Everything else is good.
Thanks, Jeff. Al and Sue?
Talking about vaccinations, Sydney is 14. She's getting her vaccination on June the 8th. Pam finally got vaccinated. Jess is getting vaccinated. My son and his wife are vaccinated, and maybe we'll see them this summer.
That's great. And Al, what would you like to share?
I have 2 quick items. Number 1, Brandy. Brandy, thank you so much. You know, I know new people feel that maybe it's not fair for them to take over positions, but I'm going to tell you something. Our club is so lucky. We have so many new, younger people, and we're just looking forward to what you can do. So, Brandy, thank you very much, and please allow me to be on your foundation committee, if you will. Okay, and my second is Miriam. Miriam, it's always nice to see you at a Rotary meeting, and you've been covering us for a long, long time, and we appreciate everything you do for us, and also appreciate your hard work in the community over this last year and a half. And so from the Rotary Club to you, Miriam, and to your family, please stay safe, stay well, and we look so forward to being in person meeting with you at the library when it's all over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al. Miriam, do you have something you'd like to share with us?
It's just been very quiet, as you know. I did cover the Innisfil Beach Park, and lots of people were obeying the rules. Lots of people were staying in their circles, and there were also lots of people breaking the rules. Sitting on the beach, it's supposed to be beaches in motion, and of course there were always people who brought their beach umbrellas, their blankets, and just spread out over the sand. But it was fairly quiet for a long weekend. And hopefully things will settle down and work well. That's it.
Thanks, Miriam. Good to see you today. Dean, what would you like to share with us?
First of all, John, thank you for coming. It's great to see you. It's been a while since we've seen each other, and I look forward to having a coffee with you soon. Other than that, just happy to be here. Happy to see everybody. Congratulations, Brandy, on being the new foundation chair. She's pretending like she had a choice. Everyone had a good week. Oh, and thank you, Doug. I just signed up for blood donor 6:15 on Monday.
Thanks, Dean. John, would you like to share something with us today? You're on mute. There. Okay.
Did you say John?
Yes.
I'm just glad I finally was able to join a Rotary meeting, my first Rotary meeting, and I'm enjoying it right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope it's the first of many. You're welcome anytime. So we hope to see you again very soon. Thank you, John, for coming. Eleanor, what would you like to share today?
A bit of news for the first time. First of all, it's wonderful to see everybody this morning. And for the first time in years, we do not have any pets. My latest, Rusty, our big tabby, was put to sleep this week. And we have no pigeons, we have nothing. And the chipmunks are having a heyday.
Okay,
and that's
thanks, Eleanor. That's sad about your cat, but okay. Monica, what would you like to share?
Good morning. Thank you, President Ann. I guess a few things. Like Al mentioned, my husband and I did celebrate our 19th anniversary yesterday. My husband celebrates his 50th birthday today, so I get to razz him all day. Also, yes, my kids are both booked for their vaccinations on June 8th as well. And one final thing, Jeff, sorry if you guys get motion sickness, this is how my 9-month-old, can you see her? That's how you're supposed to act. Such a good dog. Anyway,
Yeah,
thanks. Everybody.
my two
Happy
dogs
New
love
Year.
to fight.
Oh, she'll play if you want her to play, but she's
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
She's pretty happy just laying beside me.
We taught her how to swim in the pond this weekend. She chases ducks now in the pond in the back.
How old is yours?
Year.
Okay, so they're close. Yeah, she's
Yep.
9 months. So yeah. Anyway,
That's how she normally is until she gets up in the morning and she's rambunctious.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Thanks, Monica. Debbie and Paul, good to see you today. Do you guys have anything you'd like to share?
Actually, we do. I don't know if any of you have in-laws in retirement homes or long-term care, but we just received notification. Paul's mom lives at the Roberta Lodge, not the long-term care, but the lodge. And we just received notification that she can actually come out now and visit with us. We don't have to have COVID tests. She's allowed to come out for the day, not overnight yet, which is fine. And we can now see her instead of having to do the window chats or just having, we had a care worker go in and look after her for COVID because we couldn't go in. So that's great to know that she can finally come out. My daughters are happy that, so we've arranged a coffee morning on Friday with the girls and I, and we're gonna go and see Nana.
That's great news. That's great. Glad to hear that.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, it's great. Barb, do you have anything you'd like to share?
I do know from visiting other Rotary clubs, and don't tell them this, but we have the very best Rotary club in our area. I'm surprised. Some of the things they do are really neat, and I may bring them to Dean to suggest a few of them, but the reality is we have more fun.
Thanks, Barb. We knew that, but it's nice to hear it affirmed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Barb. Robert, do you have something to share today?
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I do. Not this lockdown, but the one prior to it, our Restore had to shut down. So we kind of pivoted and went online. Didn't know how it was going to work out, but this week we have hit the $50,000 e-commerce. So it's been successful, kept us afloat, and very happy for the community keeping us going. Thank you, everybody.
That's great news. Thanks, Robert. Brandy, what would you like to? Brandy's always got visitors. The chicken's not here today, but
no, they're not far though. But first, okay. I'd like to say thank you for your words of encouragement, Al. I'm going to say I am nervous about this position, but I will try and do my best. And my daughter would like to hijack the good news round. This is Leah.
Go ahead, Leah.
We have 17 chicks.
Wow. Great. That's great news. Thanks, Leah.
I'll go get it.
Wow. Thank you, Brandy. And Brandy, we know you're going to do great. So please don't be nervous. You'll do fantastic. Best. You'll do fantastic. Thank you. Chris, what would you like to share today? Chris Beggs. Chris, you're on mute.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, it just takes fine. Good morning. I'm having connection issues, so nice to see everybody, and good morning. Have a great week.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Dwayne, what would you like to share today?
Hey, President Ann. So good news is I started to write my book, which I'm getting some help on. So I'm excited to see how that goes. So yeah, that's exciting. A new book on the way, first book on the way. So we'll see how it goes.
That's really exciting. Thanks, Dwayne, for sharing that. What's the topic? Are you allowed to?
Yeah, so it's called Calculated Steps. It's about breaking bad habits and building new routines.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks, Dwayne. We'll have to have a special authors session when your book's ready. Okay, now on to the two Michaels. Michael Stanley, what would you like to share?
So there's not too much. It's interesting. We've got a dove living in our front, and then today a fox living in our back. So it seems all of the animals love living here, and it's not even a farm. So I didn't find that. So, but that's about all.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Michael Toth, what would you like to share today?
Thank you, President Ann. Grateful for an amazing long weekend. And Ann Kell, I'm very sorry. My contractor's arriving today to start work outside, so I don't want the rain for the next week or two.
Thanks, Michael. I think I've gone through everybody. I'll just share what I thought was my good news this week. I got a call yesterday morning from the Rosado saying, you can come in for your second shot on Friday. And I was so excited. I was like, yay. Then they called me back in the afternoon and said, no, they shouldn't have called me. That was an error. So I'm not getting my second shot on Friday, but for a little while, I was quite elated thinking, yes, I was already planning all the trips and everything I could take once I got that second shot. But hopefully before too long, those people who are eligible for a second shot will be getting them. So life can get back to some kind of normality. So another great meeting. Thank you, everybody. Al, if you're talking to anybody connected with Troy, please let them know that the thoughts of the Innisfil Rotary Club are with him and his family at this time. And we hope to get some good news soon about Troy, because he truly has been a good friend to us and to the Innisfil Food Bank as well, and other organizations. So. Okay, did anybody else have anything they wanted to bring up before I bring the meeting to a close?
President Ann, did you still want the...
Oh, I'm sorry, Janet. I keep forgetting that bit because we went so long without it. So, yeah. Yes, do you have something for us, Janet?
Yeah, now, past President Barr and our incoming Assistant District Governor Barr had put out something last week about club banners. And we have somewhere, I don't know if past President Al has it or whether our current President Ann Smith has it, but we have a banner like the one behind her head that has a whole bunch of little mini banners that have been stuck onto this big banner from all around the world. And it's usually because people will go and visit another club in a different area. So one of the colorful traditions of many Rotary clubs is to exchange a small banner, flag, or pennant with visiting Rotarians. Rotarians traveling to distant locations often take banners to exchange at makeup meetings as a token of friendship. Many clubs use these decorative banners as an attractive display at club meetings and district events. The Rotary International Board recognized growing popularity of the banner exchange in 1959 and suggested that clubs participate in them. We quite often will we will order them. We've had them designed. It's got all sorts of things like our train on it. It used to have our waterfront on it, but exchanging club banners is a very pleasant custom, especially when a creative and artistic banner tells an interesting story of community pride. The exchange of banners is a significant tradition of Rotary and serves as a tangible symbol of our international fellowship. So for instance, we've taken it down to the Dominican, we've had them sent over to England, we've had people, some of our student exchanges bring in a banner from Norway, from France. Like there's a whole pile of different banners that we have that are on one of those big blue banners that is behind President Ann right now. So hopefully it might be in the storage unit, but if you're going to visit another chapter, I know we've got the banners, they are in the storage unit as far as I know, but if you are going to visit another chapter, it's a really good idea to take one of the banners along with you to show, show your support, but also to leave a lasting memory for them. So that is your education moment for the week.
Thank you, Janet. I'm wondering if it's in the library, though I don't remember seeing it in the library when I went to pick up this particular banner. So Al, do you know where it might be?
Yes, it's in our basement, and we have a box of banners for the club here also.
Oh.
And the reason for that is we wanted to keep them in a safe, dry environment. So we have all those, Janet, and thank you so much for bringing that up.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Al. I did take one to a meeting I went to in England and gave them one of our banners, but they didn't have any to give me back in exchange. So we don't have one from that club, but no, I think that's a great tradition. I would love to see that banner when we get back together in person and just see what other clubs have contributed banners to our banner, which would be great.
I actually think that we had so many of them that we didn't get them all put on. We were looking actually at one time of getting a second large banner to place them on. I think Sue Gilchrist had gone in and sewn them all on. Originally I did, but some of them started coming off. So with her quilting knowledge, I think she went in and started fixing them up as well. So
thank you, Sue. Al, do the small ones you have the train on them?
I have, yes, I believe those are the new banners with the train,
Yeah.
and we have a box of them.
Okay, that's great. That's good to know. Thank you. Okay, well, everybody, please have a good week and take care and keep safe and see you all soon. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Stay safe.